Hi, this is Karen at Snickerdoodle Designs. Today we're going to take a look at how to use the dodge and burn tools in a non-destructive manner. Last week we talked about how to use the inner shadow and inner glow in Photoshop. If you missed that, that tutorial is on the Digital Scrapbooking Studio website, and the date was, I believe it was October 13th, 2015. During this week, I had some questions from Photoshop Elements users asking me if inner shadow and inner glow work the same in Elements as they do in Photoshop. And unfortunately, the answer is no, they do not. Those tools are in Elements, but they work a little bit differently. You don't have quite as many options as you do in Photoshop. So what can the Elements users do to create a three-dimensional look using a flat object? The dodge and burn tools are definitely tools that you could go to. With these tools we can deepen shadows and create highlights with just a few clicks of the mouse. The negative about using dodge and burn tools are they are destructive tools, and let me show you what I mean by that. The dodge and burn tools are nested together right here. I am actually using Photoshop Creative Cloud 2015 for this demonstration, but this works the same in Elements. So the dodge tool is going to lighten and the burn tool is going to darken. So what we need to do is let's go ahead and dodge the center of that circle first. So I'm going to grab the dodge tool. Make sure I have a brush selected, and I want, let's go with a 0% hardness on that. And I like to use something a little bit bigger than half the size of the circle. And all you do is click on it, and you can see it's a very, very light transition, and it's a very smooth transition because I'm using a soft edge brush. You can see little right here, a little sharpness, move that circle, a little sharpness right there, and that's where the brush has, the edges of the brush are. So let me get this back here. Alrighty. Okay, so now let's go ahead and grab the burn tool. And remember, this is going to darken the area, and I don't want to darken the white, only the circle. So I will hit Control and then the thumbnail of this layer. That will select it. You see the marching ants around it, and that will constrain my burn to just the circle. And I'm just going to go around and click around it, and that's giving it a little darkness. Control D will deselect. I don't really like it. Let's go back and add a little bit more lightness to the center, and I might even bring that up just a little bit more. Now you could go ahead and play with that until you get something that you like. That's okay. What I'd like you to notice though is that this was done destructively. You don't see a layer here where I made those adjustments. So this is the final image, and if I change my mind, it's too late because I have changed the pixels using these tools. However, there is a way to use them non-destructively, and so let's do that. I'm going to, let's go to my history panel, and I'll just come back here to a little bit more. There you go. Okay, so now we're back to our original circle. You can see right here. And this is how we will use the dodge and burn tools non-destructively. And again, this is either in Photoshop or Photoshop Elements, either one. So the first thing we want to do is add a layer, a blank layer, right above the layer we're going to work on, and that's this circle right here. So I can come down here and click on the Add a New Layer, or you could come up and add a new layer up in the top menu bar. With that layer selected, I'd like to go to Edit, Fill, and I want to fill that blank layer with 50% gray. I think it usually defaults to color here, so click on the down pointing arrow and click on 50% gray and click OK. Now come up to the blend mode right at the top of your layers panel and change the blend mode of that gray layer to overlay. And now we can see our circles underneath. We want to dodge and burn on this gray layer, and that's the entire secret of using the dodge and burn tool in a non-destructive manner. I'll come back and grab the dodge tool again, making sure I'm on that gray layer. I'm going to click right in the middle. Bring that opacity up a little bit more this time. And now go back and grab the burn tool. And go right around there. Because we're working on the gray layer, we don't, pardon me, we don't have to select the image like we did before. And now you have a nice burn. I might even do a little bit more there and go back to the dodge tool and make it a little bit better. If you notice, this one has a little purer color as well. I should have saved the other one so you could have seen it. But when you, excuse me, when you use the dodge and burn tool when it's not on the gray level, you get a little bit of a darker tone where this is more pure. And the good thing is it's non-destructive. So I can turn that off and you can see our original circle, and I turn it back on, and here are the adjustments on top of our circle. If you were working in a layout, I'd probably go ahead and highlight both of those and click the chain to make sure that they stay together, and then you won't have to worry about shifting the circle or the adjustment away from your image. I have a few samples here to show you. Let's bring up this one. Here's an original image on the left, and I used the gray on the right, and I just used the dodge tool to highlight, to bring out the highlights and lightness in the greenery. And here is an ocean view. I use the dodge here for the castle, right here. And I burned the clouds just a little bit more to make it a little more dramatic. And here is a before. Oops, here we go. Off my screen. This is a photograph I took of two little alpaca, a mom and a baby. It was a really bright sunny day, and you can see that the white in the fleece on the baby is pretty light, and I'd like to make it a little bit darker. I'd like her eye to be a little bit lighter, and maybe just a little bit of lightness on the mom's face. And so I did that here. You can see. You can definitely see, let me bring this over. Whoops, I'm going to move this out of the way for now. You can definitely see the before and the after on the coat of the baby. This is the after, this is the before. And you can see the baby's face too. A little darker here, and I used a little dodge right there. A little bit on the mom, not too much. I was pretty happy with the mom actually. Her ears are a little bit lighter here, not too dramatically though. But those are just some examples of what you can do with the dodge and burn tool. Just always try to remember to add that layer of gray beforehand, change it to overlay, and perform your dodge and burn techniques on that gray layer, and then you will have worked non-destructively, which is always the ideal way to work in Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thanks for coming by, and I'll see you next week.